to Once Upon a Game, episode 14, where we're playing Fall of Magic by Ross Cowman. So, the Magus has just arrived and witnessed the hospitality of the Barley Lord. So now it's up to us to make a scene in Barley Town. I have one.
Okay, yeah.
Farmer's Market. So this is a scene with the Magus and Caspian. Can I have somebody play the Magus?
Yeah, I'll play the Magus.
Okay. Um, Caspian is talking to the Magus as they're going down sort of like a main street of like a farmer's market. So there's like fresh produce and stuff like that in the stands. And they're clearly debating about the price of something, but the something isn't being disclosed in the open. And between us, Robert and us as players, we're talking about how I have an agreement that I will go with the Magus to Umbra because I need a magical ingredient of some kind, and that the Magus was going to help me because I paid him.
Okay.
But we're negotiating the terms of that agreement without being like blatant about it.
Right.
So we're going through the market, and the Magus is buying a lot of like almost unnecessary things, and I looked at the Magus, and Caspian goes, sir, with all due respect, I don't think we need those 3 extra cabbages and 4 carrots and these 2-pound loaves of bread.
Oh, dear Caspian. Sometimes these things happen. You don't know what we will need. We don't know what will face us.
Well, I think we should have a pretty good idea of since you are the Magus and can you have the powers to see divinations. But why? Pray tell that we need so much food for what should be a relatively short journey.
Maybe we run out of food. Maybe we must take care of some people along the way. Maybe what if the people in this dying world, do they not deserve, if we happen upon a man or woman on the road who is starving, should we not have extras to give to them?
Do you I think Caspian gets pretty like red in the face and just calls to the Magus kind of in public, being like, the reason why magic is leaving is because you do not care about keeping your own affairs to yourselves. Your love has doomed magic, and like storms off, leaving the Magus there. What does the Magus do?
I think I think you see him kind of look at Caspian leave, like he's looking at him, and then you kind of see this look on his face, and then he kind of just turns and starts talking with another merchant about like buying some more things.
Oh, okay. Doesn't care. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, like I think you see a little bit of care on his face, but then the kind of mask gets put back on, and he yeah.
All right. I have a couple ideas, but I was just the Magus, so if somebody else wants to jump in.
I can do one. I'm gonna go to the old abbey Um, the church itself is not a big size, it's modest. It's got stained glass windows like you would normally see in a church. And you see River just like skulking around at not nighttime but close to.
Like dusk or twilight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's just like kind of pacing, wondering if he should actually go in. Um, does anyone want to play like the father of the church?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And the father sees River just pacing around the church.
So he walks up to River and stops a polite distance away and says, "You look lost, my child. How can we be of assistance here?"
Not lost, just considering what I should do. I did something wrong in the past, and I'm not sure how to make up to the person.
So the old father, he nods and he kind of gestures for you to have a seat on in like one of the pews or something,
Yeah.
and says, "We all make mistakes. Tell me, child, what has how have you wronged someone?"
I pull out a sack of basically silverware and give it to the father. So last night I accidentally stole these. I do not know how.
Like, how big is this sack are we talking about?
It's
This is like one of those comically oversized cartoon dollar bag sacks? Are you
yeah.
talking?
It's a medium-sized sack about like that, and he probably just saw a like sack over his shoulder, the father, and I just want to apologize. I don't know what came over me. I was probably really drunk last night, but I came to say I'm sorry.
So like he like opens up the bag and like looks through it. Is there anything in there that's recognizable as to where it came from, like a distinct like marking or monogram or something?
There's probably from the Church of Ravenhall, and from here there's probably like a symbol that would be marking for each church or something like that, telling that it would be coming from there.
Okay. So this came from this abbey, but also from someplace in Ravenhall?
Yes.
Like every place you've been.
Pretty much. Just a little bit of here and there.
Okay.
But it's always been churches.
Interesting. So yeah, I think I think his eyes go wide when he realizes that these are all from churches, and he says, "You have done the right thing. I will take I will take care of returning these to their rightful places." And he like picks out the one that belongs to this abbey, and he stands and like places it where it belongs, and says, "And the others, I will return. I've seen whom you travel with. It's your destiny is more important than a few knickknacks."
Most definitely. Well, thank you for forgiving me. And I will try to stop my ways.
I think like when you say thank you for forgiving me, he like turns around and he says this like in a really kind voice, but there's like an underlying threat to it. He says, "I will forgive you when magic returns."
Okay. With that, I will say my goodbye and yeah, I'll head out of the church.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I think I have a scene.
Oh, go for it.
All right, so Harp goes to Swinehill, and so he's kind of, it's probably around dawn that he's getting to this hill, and it overlooks this valley, and you can still see in this valley there was this battle that had been fought here like a long time ago, but and it's been like kind of like a proving ground of sorts of armies like throughout the years, and it's all based like around this one battle happened here a long time ago. And so, like, when any upstarts want to kind of prove themselves, like, they'll fight their armies here, in the spring. And, you can kind of see still, like, the remnants of all of just this constant battles that happen here. And Harp kind of, like, reaches down as he gets into the valley. He reaches down and gets some of the loose dirt and kind of lets it fall in his hands, and you see in the same vein of all these flashbacks, it's him as a child doing the same thing with kind of like a sandbox almost kind of thing, just this thing he's playing in, and he's as a kid just putting his hands through it, and he kind of looks up and he sees his dad in full regalia, armor, the spear, shield, and kind of kissing his mother goodbye as he goes off to one of these battles.
Awesome.
Wow.
All right. We're going to see a song of Justice's people. At the Inn of the Axe and Fiddle. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Okay, at the Inn of the Axe and Fiddle, you see Justice very much standing out. Anybody else who wants to be there could be there having a drink. I feel like the Magus is there.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Sitting in
Drinking
in a
that same
booth.
bottle.
Yeah, so he's sitting in a booth, and he's got a mug of beer in front of him, and his little hat is on his head and kind of tilted down, and there's a bard on the there's in the corner, there's a small raised platform for performing, and there's a bard there who's just finishing up a song. And as people, clap and cheer, and you throw money at the stage, all of a sudden, Justice, who's been sitting at the same table with everyone in the Magus, I guess not sitting so much as just standing nearby, because that's kind of what it does. And but as the song fades and the bard is packing up to leave, you didn't notice it at first, but ever since that song had come to a close, there'd been like a low humming. And as the rest of the inn sort of quiets down, there's a moment between, after all of the applause dies and before all the conversations pick back up, it starts to get louder and louder, and it's coming from Justice. And it stands at a slightly, it stands a little bit taller and a little bit wider, and the buzz becomes a hum and grows and starts to fill the whole room. And as people start to hear it, they go silent and start staring. And slowly, a rhythmic, clinking goes along with it. It's not quite like a bell or like a hand symbol, but it's I guess it's got
A
sort
triangle?
of yeah. No, it's not metallic like that, but it's kind of like in that high pitch area, but because it's basically the crystals clicking together, and the pitch of the hum and vibrations change, and you can see a number of the crystals start to rub against one another, and it produces a sound like rubbing your finger on the rim of a wine glass.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, like the glass tone stuff.
Yeah, totally. And so, and for the next 10 minutes, there's just this hauntingly beautiful glass tone, small tinking, and all with an underlying hum that comes from Justice. And everyone is just enraptured. They can't stop staring, except the Magus, who just slowly sips his beer while this is going on. And as the song progresses, the glow emanating from Justice gets brighter and then fades again as it goes towards the end of the song. And you're welcome to have a reaction to that before the scene ends.
Yeah. So I think that harp was in when the bards were all playing and stuff, all the people who were probably dancing a bit, harp was with them, kind of dancing. And I think as everyone kind of stops and this song comes out of Justice, harp is the only one who is still trying to dance with people. This isn't a surprise to him. I don't know if he's heard this before, but it's not Justice isn't something that is frightening or eerie or anything. He's known Justice since he was a child, and so he's oh, Justice is playing a song, and he's trying to get other people to dance and not really noticing that they're entranced by this thing.
How does I was just wondering, how maybe River would respond.
River responds by Justice doesn't drink anything. I guess he would offer Justice a drink, but then realize that he can't drink anything, then offer it to Magus, saying that was a wonderful song, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I think Caspian would also be proudly being bravo, bravo. Very like a brilliant opera.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of that, Justice just kind of nods and its glow like recedes and then just goes back to kind of standing passively and kind of deflecting other people who come up or ask it anything about the song or whatever. And goes back to pretty much being very a silent vigil, more or less.
Yeah. I think if anyone's like kind of like bothering Justice, Harp is like, as the rest of the music kicks back in and other bards are playing, he's like trying to grab them and like pull them like, oh, like, we're dancing now, and then, like, stop bothering my friend.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think in the bar, I think the light sort of like lights up some sort of like cute girl at the bar, and Caspian and her make eye contact, and then proceed.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. And then scene.
All right, I have a scene. So following that scene, we're going to Matilda's farm,
No.
and
The next morning.
no, it's that
Oh.
night, and you cut to like the half part of like the inside of the house as like the door like goes open and they start they're making out, and Caspian is like he takes like one second, and like he goes outside to get some fresh air, because like his shirt's like half unbuttoned now, and he looks down at himself, and he looks at his left hand on his ring finger and sees the ring, and looks back at the door, and he's just like, oh man, like, and just like buttons himself up and just walks off.
Oh, wow.
So,
Oh,
like
that's-
like I can't betray, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Oh, that's good. That was like a really short scene, but it's so perfect. Cool. Anyone have another scene that they would like, or
or are we moving the Magus?
who would like to make the
Mr.
decision
Magus.
as to where to move the Magus?
I specifically don't want to make the decision. I want to see what someone else does.
River, do you want to do it?
Yeah,
John?
sure.
Or I will. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll make. It seems like a split between either Mistwoods or Stormguard Mountains.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm describing what the Magus would choose.
Yes.
So you make the decision, but then you describe a scene from the Magus's point of view. So either what slows you down as the Magus going into the Mistwood, or the coming storm from the perspective of the Magus going into the Stormguard Mountains.
Okay. I think Mistwoods seems like a good option. So coming out of Barley Town, saying goodbye to all the people there and begrudging the Barley Lord of his place. It comes pretty barren for a little bit, then it's mountains to the right and more forest to the left, and the Magnus chooses to go to the Mistwoods. I don't know why.
He's mysterious.
Yeah, just because. And going through the woods, one of the oxen's or whatever's pulling the cart gets hurt because it's so misty. The beast just hit a bump in the road and fell. So have to stop for a while, make sure the beast is all right and healed. And now it's like the middle of the night in those misty woods, wondering where to go from here. And
So it's the mist that slows us down.
pretty much, yeah.
That cold, cold mist.
Yeah, how does the Magus respond to like it being like the wagon, like this essentially, you know, this problem of the wagon being slowed down, the trip being slowed down?
I wouldn't say he's angry, but he understands that this is a necessary step of a journey. There will be slowdowns in a journey of travel. Some expected, some not. I'm just wondering, has he done this travel before?
You can decide.
Yeah.
You have creative authority.
Okay, I will say he has, and it's not a problem he's faced before, but I would say more trouble has gone down in the mountains than the Mistwoods, and this was probably the safer pass to get to the next part of the journey. Yeah.
All right. I have a scene.
Okay.
Something came to me.
Cool.
Foraging. Let me roll those dice. Roll them.
Aren't you supposed to set the scene first and then roll a dice?
But whatever the answer is, it depends on which how I frame the scene.
Well, so
what do the rules
I don't
say?
want to derail it, but the rules say set the scene like you normally would, then roll the dice, and then describe what happens after you've already started setting.
Right, yeah, it's just you described the first line.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. The Magus and Caspian are arguing during like breakfast. So they like woke up. It's early. There's like mist and dew all over the ground. A small fire is going. Tents are set up. So D6. Fuck.
I don't know what that means, honestly. Like, I can't.
It's entirely up to Eric.
Oh, duh. Skaduh. Got it. So the Magus and Caspian take off into the woods, talking about finding some rare ingredients that the Magus needs. And while they're out there, they end up getting ambushed by like a squad of about five or six people, and they all have sort of like reddish features on them. Not quite. They don't look quite human. And the leader of them, with sort of like a sword drawn, pointing at the pair, the Magus and Caspian. He calls out that they're looking for a friend of theirs by the name of River.
Okay.
I think I'll leave the scene. Oh, I guess I have to come up the lesson. I think I tell the Magus in a very sardonic way. I told you we shouldn't have taken the right path.
Okay. I have a scene I would like to do next. If there are no objections.
Go ahead.
Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Trail of the Rangers, the Changing Mist. I even took the right token this time, guys. All right. So this is sometime later. It's hard to tell what time of day it is because the mists are ever present and they cause the there to be a steady kind of glowing light that just surrounds everything but illuminates nothing. It's hard to say if it's an hour after dawn or an hour before dusk or even the middle of the day. And we're walking along, and Justice is at the front leading, and calls out to the rest. This trail. So I guess this would actually be before because we didn't resolve the fox thing. So anyway, either way, this trail was left by the Rangers. It will lead us to the Hall of the Woods. And as it says that, though, a gust of wind blows across the trail, and the mist thickens for a moment. And as it, the wind blows on, and the you can see the trail ahead again. It looks different. Like, originally it kind of curved off to the right, and now it kind of curves off to the left. And Justice turns back to the group and calls, I do not like these mists. I do not trust them, Magus.
I think that, as Justice says, like, I do not like these mists. I do not trust them. Harp is like at Justice's side, like very like kind of like you don't see Harp approach. Like Harp is just there, like as like this is like, and just as like kind of like very lightly like patting the golem on the back, like as like I do not trust, like kind of like.
They're there.
Yeah. And then...
It's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah, and then kind of continues forward, like that essentially, like, kind of the pat was like, I'll take the lead. Like, I'll...
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that, with that, Justice actually goes and climbs into the cart for probably the first time this entire trip. And its glow dulls slightly. And you're not sure if it's just the lighting with the mist or if it's something else. And that's it.
Okay.
I have a scene.
Okay.
So I'm also going to go to the the Trail of the Rangers, and this like directly follows the previous scene with Harp leading, and Harp is kind of he's a little bit forward, and he's like signaling to the wagon, like kind of he goes forward, signals like okay, it's good to go forward, and Um, he's doing quite well actually at navigating through the mist. And so we're seeing it from like a third person perspective, and then it kind of goes to Harp's perspective, and he's guiding the wagon through. But as like when you see it through Harp's eyes, he's 5 again, and he's running. He's running through the Stormguard Mountains like in a snowstorm, still clutching that rose. And he's like 5-year-old in a mountain pass trying to traverse it, and is just running, and he like just has not stopped running. He's gone. He hasn't eaten for days. He's clutching just in his hand this rose petal, and is running through. And he gets to like the top of like, so if you look at the path how it curves down, like curves at the very. He gets to there, and he sees the switchback path that leads all the way down the mountains, and he just looks at it and just the storm in front of him, and like the 5-year-old, like just the amount of distance and like struggle that he's going to have to get through, like he's 5, it breaks him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And he stops for the first time, and then turns back, and he tries to go back up the trail, and he takes a few steps forwards, and it's like he hits a wall, and he just keeps like kind of like
Getting repelled back, yeah.
right, and like this and he just like sits there, and for almost like an hour he's just pushing back and forth against this wall until he finally like just gives up and sits in the snow. And then you see him like kind of crawl back up and walk back, like start down the switchbacks of the mountain, and that kind of transitions directly into the him guiding back the wagon through the mist, and stopping and going a little bit forward, and stopping and going a little bit forward, and bringing the wagon through the mists.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go to foraging and continue the story with they were raiders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what I will say, for you as a player,
Yeah.
I think these are a band of people who were also changed by River from foxes.
Okay. Yeah. So it's gonna be right after they said we're looking for River. He's going to basically leap down from a tree nearby and give a hello to them. And I'm gonna roll that die. Would you mind being the raiders?
No problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Where you are wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna say I did something wrong to them. Probably leave the Mist Forest to go someplace else. And
Yeah, I think I think the leader is surprised to actually see you here,
yeah.
and he calls out to you and says, "Why did you leave us all those years ago? You coward."
You may call me a coward, but for some reason I felt the magic in us that turned us to humans would you say disperse? Turn us back to foxes, just ordinary foxes. So I decided to try to find out what would stop this, and I I traveled all the way to Ravenhall to see the Magus. Um,
I think at that moment, they realize that they have the Magus, and I think they back up. They're like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And they put their weapon away. It's like, we didn't know you were traveling with the Magus.
Why else do you
Well
think I
then.
would be here? Well, I'm sorry for leaving with no explanation, but I had my
No,
reasons.
you honor us with the Magus's presence. If somebody wants to play the Magus and say something, you
Yeah.
could.
I kind of like the idea that the Magus is just quiet the entire time.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think where you went. I guess the part where you went wrong was me leaving. Yeah. Well, I will be following the Magus to what is the place we're going?
Umbra.
Umbra. Okay. To Umbra, and I will be trying to help him refill the magic in this world, so that hopefully that we don't lose our magic, and hopefully I will return to this place. I really like it in these woods, and well, we do have a bit of food we could share. Would you like to join us in a feast?
I really want the Magus to like shoot a look over at Caspian.
Yes,
like,
that's exactly
at
what I
that-
was saying.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
like
the
see?
you remember that cabbage?
Uh-huh, exactly.
And I think Caspian's like face palming. How could this happen? Yeah.
Well, I invite them to a banquet or whatever
Or
adjoining.
campfire.
Yeah, campfire.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool scene.
Yeah.
I think it's your turn to be the Magus, Eric.
I know.
I'm good on scenes here, unless somebody else had a thing.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, I think that's probably a nice way of how we get to the Hall of the Woods. Perhaps they give us the path through the Mistwood.
Okay.
In the interim. So the Magus gets kind of like a map, or we all kind of get a map from Fox's former band,
Yeah.
and we get to the borderlands of the Hall of the Woods. Like we get to where the Mistwood turns into the Spirit Woods, and we see as we approach some sort of druidic but grotesque symbol of bones. Could somebody give me a description of what's dangling
sure.
from a tree?
It's like a fetish, like of bones of various sizes that are tied together to look like a to look like a man.
Ooh.
But it has like a bird skull in place of where you'd put the head. And there's more of these. Like again, they look basically like stick figures.
Yeah.
But they're made out of bones. But each one of them has a different small animal skull in place of a head. Like there's a small cat skull, or maybe it's a mink, and there's like a couple of different birds of various sizes.
Yeah, I love the idea that above these trees are like just crows or like vultures.
Sure.
Just like hanging out near those trees. and like a light breeze goes by, and the fetishes jingle in a very kind of grotesque way. The rattling of xylophone bone, kind of.
I think that at that, like, when that happens, in response, Justice like kind of shakes like that, and just a rippling tinkling in kind of echo of what just happened goes through all of the crystalline pieces.
So we cross the threshold into the spirit woods, and I think we all kind of together are sort of like on the defense points around the Magus in the middle of us. And like the camera kind of shows us the camera's kind of like spinning around while we're walking through these woods, and we can see like the shadows of the fetishes as it spins behind trees and stuff. And then we'll spin behind another tree, and it's a shadow of like a actual like flesh and blood robed human, and then like flashes back again, very like creepily. And we hear like we all hear these whispers being like, "Stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out," and like, "Get out, get out, get out." But we march forward stoically until we get to an abandoned lodge in deep in the woods, like an abandoned hunting lodge, and dangling from a dilapidated sign, it says Inn of the Grey Rangers. And as far as you can tell, it's completely empty, and just it's been abandoned for who knows. Spooky times.
Yeah, let's get spoopy.
I'm excited for spooky times. I have some spoopy times.
Okay.
Circle of the Ancients, a disturbing ritual. I think Justice is alone. It has gone off a ways from this cabin inn where everyone else is staying, and found a stone circle. It's a clearing, like in kind of a bowl, in that a kind of circular bowl, and around the outside of the bowl are stone slabs set into the ground. So it almost looks like a giant fire pit, except the center is all dirt. But each one of those slabs around the outside are carefully etched with symbols that no one recognizes. But as Justice crosses the threshold, the glow from its body seeps into the runes.
Oh.
And it slowly spreads all the way around the whole circle.
Like a liquid glow into the circle?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Totally.
And by the time it reaches the center of the bowl, the liquid glow has managed to make it all the way around the circle, and as it touches itself on the other side, like whoosh, some sort of like light or a field just shoots up into the air, and like birds startle, and some ravens caw and fly away as that happens. And in the center of the circle, completely alone, I feel like it's just dusk, and we now see that Justice has a knife in its hand, and we've never on camera seen it with any kind of weapon or anything before. And it takes the knife and it shoves it into its chest and like wiggles it around and pops out a small piece of itself.
God.
And it takes that small piece and then it kneels down in the very center of the bowl and uses the knife like a shovel to dig a small hole and looks up with its eyeless face towards the horizon. And just as the sun dips down to sunset, drops the piece in the ground and shoves dirt over it. And as the same moment that happens, the light that had been lighting the circle goes completely dim.
Oh.
And so the only light that's left is coming from Justice itself. And then it stands back up again, but seems almost pained to do so. Like it's harder than it was a moment before. And then heads back towards the cabin.
Damn. So you got recharged.
Something happened.
Yeah.
Went to the first fantasy Tesla powered station.
I have a scene.
Yeah, you do. Because you have to hold it because it's ready for a second break.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't believe
Hooray,
how fast. How is it already 11? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
that just flew by. So, just 5 more minutes, and then we'll get into our third and final hour of episode 14, Once Upon a Game, where we're playing Fall of Magic. Yay!
Yay.
Yay!